Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, and you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Been a busy morning, back to back to back meetings, training, all that other good stuff. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Finally, we made it. Uh,
I know. Forgive me. It's been a rough year, man. I had surgery back in November. That set me back. Then we caught COVID in January. We were
yeah,
down for a month. And then I was shooting a movie, so we were out for a month. And then it was like, now that the masks are off, our kids are catching everything under the sun. So it was the stomach flu and then some weird other bizarre flu where that turned into a sinus infection. And so like last 6 months has just been sickness, and we're finally coming out of that. And it's just meeting.
yeah. Same to me. I was working with kids a week ago, and I was just 2 days working with them. Then I got the flu, so I had to stay in my at my place for a week. So it's been crazy too, but thank you for sticking with me for, I think it's been a year and almost half since I first reached out to you. And
Yeah, you're a patient man. Thank you so much. By the way, is it Jean or Jean?
It's John.
Jean. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure because I hate getting people's names wrong.
No, it's John. How was Easter?
Easter was fantastic. We were in San Diego with my wife's family, and so it was great with the kids and just living the dream, man. It's just living the dream. Love it.
Yeah.
The Easter when you have kids, it's like this whole new thing because you get to experience it all over again. It's the best.
For us, you guys in the United States are way ahead of us with celebration, because in Belgium, Easter is basically just a couple of chocolate eggs in the garden for the kids. So it's great for the kids, but not when we are adults. But
yeah, I get it. I get it. I've been to Belgium. I loved it. I was in Belgium, probably 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. 10 years for like a convention.
Yeah, we did a convention in Belgium, and I had a great time. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a little gray, a little cloudy while I was there.
Yeah, you should come in April, May. It's a bit of sunny here. It's more sunny here.
That's what I need. That's what I need. Well, hey, by the way, I just want to say again, thank you for your patience. Forgive me for my time. It's been a crazy busy last 3 years. It's just been like go, 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 go. We've never been home except for those last 6 months. And this last 6 months has been all about healing and recovery and taking care of mind, body, spirit, all that good stuff. So, but now I'm ready to go, ready to rock. So I'm glad to finally see your face.
Yeah, no worries. I understand why it took us so long to set up this interview, because I read your resume yesterday, and Matt, you did so many things with your life, and you're still going to that I wasn't even aware of, and I'm not just talking about the acting area. So with that said, how are you feeling about being asked constantly questions about One Tree Hill, as if it was the only thing you've ever done? That's really something that, like I told you yesterday, I watch interviews with you, and it's basically a lot about One Tree Hill. And yeah, it's a bit crazy, I think.
You know, it's interesting. One Tree Hill took on a life of its own, especially with streaming today. You know, streaming has made it a new show. I know that I don't know what country, but a country in Europe just recently got One Tree Hill for the first time. So they're watching it like it's brand new. They've never seen it. We were at a restaurant in San Diego over the weekend, and this girl was having her 21st birthday. And so it was 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old girls who, when I started, I mean, the show's been wrapped for, 2012, 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, and those girls were 12, I guess, or 11, 10 when we finished shooting it. So it's crazy to know that they continue to watch the show. The show continues to be watched and appreciated by so many new generations. And so I think, honestly, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to be a part of something that's gone from generation to generation. It feels good. I don't have any qualms with it. I'm blessed, man. I'm lucky.
So that's not bothering you sometimes, that it's always the same questions about One Tree Hill?
No, man. I'm blessed to do it. You got to remember, like, a lot of people don't you got to put things in perspective. I'm from Buffalo. I'm from a small town in the US. I mean, it's a great city. I love my city. But the idea when I was a kid of, I'm going to get out of Buffalo and I'm going to become an actor. I'm going to go make movies for a living. Like, that's a dream, right? And the fact that I've been doing it now for 22 years, it's a dream on top of a dream. I'm so blessed to be able to do it. So the idea that I'd have a hit TV show like a One Tree Hill, that I'd be a part of it, I mean, it's humbling. If anything, I'm lucky to have done it. So no, it doesn't bother me. I'm not that guy. That's just not who I am. You know, and the best is yet to come. I have plans and aspirations, and I think it just motivates me to keep going.
Yeah, I understand. But in your professional life, does Lucas Scott is sometimes a burden to you? And I'm asking that because to so many, like we said, you always be Lucas Scott. And I read one day, but I can't remember where, that when an actor portrays such an iconic role like this for so many years, it can be kind of difficult to get rid of it. And so, which can frighten casting directors.
Yeah, I mean, look, do I think that there's typecasting? Of course. It's hard sometimes for people to see you in a different role. And it's a blessing and a curse, right? It's a blessing that I was in a great show. The downside is, it's hard for people to see you in different places. So what you do is you go out there and you just do the work, and you keep studying and you keep moving the boundary. You keep pushing the boundaries. So, I have a film coming out next week. It's called Fortress, and I'm an insane person. I genuinely think if you turn it on, you take a look, you're not going to see Lucas Scott. There is no Lucas Scott there. It's a different world. It's a different soul. It's a different creature that comes from deep down within that I've been holding on to. And there's so many more characters that I have to play. And it's just about breaking through, and eventually you throw enough at the wall, something's going to stick. And so I look forward to that opportunity, and only time will tell. Just keep doing it. Keep going.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Fortress in just a few. I can feel that you're still holding on Lucas close to your heart. What did you like the most about his journey, about giving a life to him for, I think, 6 years, 7 seasons?
Yeah, 6 years. It was awesome. I mean, he was the moral compass of the show, Everything kind of goes through Lucas. He's the moral identity of the show. So people could identify with that. But it was an ensemble, that show was an ensemble. There was a character for every single person. And I think that's why so many people identify with it. Maybe you were the Malcolm McFadden, maybe you were the Brooke Davis, maybe you were the Peyton Sawyer, maybe you were the Luke, Nathan, so many different characters on the show that you could identify. Maybe you were the Skills, maybe you were the Coach Durham, And so I think because of that, that's why that show identified with so many people. And I love every character that I play, that I have the opportunity to step in their shoes, because it's a part of you, part of you that you can't rid yourself of it. Film's forever.
So, let's talk about another journey, darker this time. In 2021, you got to play the infamous Ted Bundy, a real life serial killer who kidnapped, raped, and murdered young women in the 70s. What did it take you to put yourself in the shoes of such a dark, twisted, evil mind, and knowing that some scenes you filmed is what it actually really did to his victims?
Oh man, there were so many exciting aspects about jumping and going to make that film. And then there were so many disappointments, because we were one of the first films that shot outside of COVID. And I don't like to make excuses, but on this one, we lost 2-3 days just to COVID protocols and being shut down because we had a COVID scare. One of our PAs caught COVID, and then they have to shut down. It was right at the beginning of the pandemic when we had no idea what this virus may or may not be. So it was difficult. It was difficult, especially when I spent 2 months watching, every bit of video on Ted and creating a mindset and an idea of who he thought he was versus what he was, to mimic, portray, to live in his shoes, to create his cadence and his speech and all these different things that he did. And then we got on set and we didn't have the time to play, which is really difficult. It's really, really difficult, especially when you were playing, you're doing basically a story of a real person. You need the opportunity to play a little bit. The way we shot that movie was, we're wearing a mask. So I don't even know what the other actor opposite me looks like, all the way until they call action. Even in rehearsal, they were wearing a mask, which makes it very difficult. And then they would shoot and then say, masks back on, and then go moving on. And you're going, no, what do you mean moving on? So ultimately what I wanted to do and what we did do were two very different things. Yeah. But it was still an incredible study of the human condition and Ted Bundy, who was an awful, disgusting monster that so many people are really fascinated with, because you sit there and you go, how did he get that way? How did he go so far from where he's supposed to be? Because I think most of humanity is good. I think we're all good in our heart for the most part. And then you have this diabolical Satan-esque version of a human being that's just so awful in so many ways. And I think we all question, where did they go wrong? How did it go off the rails so badly? And that's what fascinates us. We're not fascinated with his darkness. We're fascinated with where he went wrong. What was it that made him go, zig when he should have zagged? And so I was fascinated by it. I got to watch so many videos and so many things and learn so much and learn a lot about myself during the process. So, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm kind of fascinated about how in today's world we love stories about escrow, murderer. On Netflix there is this show, The Tinder Swindler, and there is a show about another escrow, and it's like, I'm sorry, it's late, so I have to think twice in English. Okay. But it's like we are really attracted by evil stuff in a way. I don't know how to explain myself about this, but it's something that really fascinates me. I don't know.
Yeah, it keeps you fascinated, right? It keeps your attention locked. Yeah, it's not your Dan. I don't watch any of that. Me personally, I think that there's enough darkness, to be honest with you, in the world that I don't need to sit there and watch it on my television. I don't want to absorb it as much. So I watch a lot of lighthearted television. I stay in the more comedic realm, or I watch cartoons with the kids. And I love that. I love it. If there's something great that comes along, of course, there's certain things that I will watch, and I'll take that step back and go, this I got to watch, especially if it's one of my favorite artists and favorite actors. Like, for instance, when Joaquin Phoenix did The Joker, dark film, but it was so very real and so gritty. And he embodied something that we can all understand. And so to watch that was fascinating. I never watched The Tinder Swindler. I just, people like that are just awful scum, and I'm not going to give them the time of day. I don't buy into that garbage. I just won't do it, just because I don't want to promote this negative energy and this negative behavior patterns that are kind of being held up right now. Yeah. There's so many of them. Poor behavior is being like, yeah, good job, you really screwed up big. And then we're like praising them for it. I think it's ridiculous. Well,
I can't imagine how difficult it was with Ted Bundy, but I've watched the trailer, and it seems like you did such a great job, and it's kind of good to see you in something really different, because I watched you in One Tree Hill and a couple of Christmas movies, so it was really different. And later that year, you get to play another criminal, but fictional this time, called Zachary in Fortress 1, 2, and soon 3. Can you briefly say what the movies are about?
Yeah, Fortress is, without giving too much away, Bruce's character in the film, Robert, is nestled away inside of a fortress. He is retired and safe, is basically. He was, a very, very, very powerful good guy. Let's just say that. And so he's nestled inside this fortress, and there is a major digital currency hack that has gone on, and they need my character, Frederick Balzari, needs to get into this fortress to get that information, to get his $600 million. And that's really the journey that we go on through 1 and 2. It was fun. I loved playing. I loved living in Frederick's shoes, to be honest with you. He was insane. And in 1, we go from here to here. And so you see him grow a little bit crazier. And then in 2, it went to see him just completely lose it. And for me, it's always fun when you can remove the borders and the boundaries of the character that you can live in. Because every character has, like, these are the boundaries of who he can be and what he's allowed to do. You know, Lucas Scott was the moral compass. So he can't really go outside this. Otherwise, that's not who he is. Where Frederick Balzari's boundaries were much bigger, if he had any at all. So it was fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That comes out next Friday.
Yeah, and it gave you the opportunity to work with what are, to me, 2 warriors. Talking about Shannen Doherty and Bruce Willis. How was it to work with them?
I love them. I love them both. I love them both, period. Shannon's one of the sweetest, most kind-hearted, gentle human beings in the world. Yeah. We had so many fantastic talks and lunches, and she played with our kids, and she's just a fantastic human being, completely and utterly professional. And we came up with ideas and threw things back and forth on set, and just kind of held things together when we needed to, and help, move things along. And then Bruce, I've had the privilege of working with him a few times now. And, growing up, he was one of those childhood, heroes of yours. You grow up, you watch Die Hard, you watch all these films, you see The Sixth Sense, or you see Unbreakable, or any of these movies that he's done, right? And you just go, dude, that's Bruce Willis. He's cool. And so for me to have that opportunity, that chance to go and just be and stare at those baby blue eyes of his, and really genuinely get to know him, and genuinely get to care for him as a human being, because we had the opportunity to have so many deeper conversations offset, in between, when the cameras are rolling, when we could have those real moments and get to know each other. That was what was special for me the most, not just going to work with him, but having that opportunity to really get to know the man behind, John McClane.
Yeah, you're so lucky and so humble, I have to say. I have one last question, and then I'll let you go. It's a question I'm asking to every guest I have the huge chance to talk to. If you could interview yourself, what question would you ask?
That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question. Man, that's a tough question, because it's a really pensive question. You have to think about it,
I love it.
Well, there's so many questions that I personally, being in my own shoes, would ask, but they're questions that I wouldn't personally talk about anyway. I think really getting to know a human ultimately is what these journeys should be about, right? So I think the best question would be is, do you love it? Do you love what you do? And the question and the answer to that is, yeah, 100%. I love getting up in the morning. I love going to set. When I'm on set, I feel like I'm at home. It's the only other place I feel I'm at home. An award show, I don't like it. I'm not comfortable there. Red carpets, no. But being on a set, it feels so organic. Being behind the camera and in front of the camera, and being creative and throwing ideas off one another and really diving in, that gets me so excited and so jazzed. I love that part of our business so very much. A lot of us in this world, you know, we love something and then it becomes a job. I still get jazzed every time I step on set. Doesn't matter what it is. You know, it could be something incredibly simple or it can be something very complex. But for me, I love it, man. I love doing it. I love talking about it. I love getting up in the morning and going. I love writing about it. I love studying it. I love all those aspects. I think what our industry has become is not what it really is. Mm-hmm. You know, the industry is morphed into something that it really isn't at its heart. It's not this celebrity thing. And I think at some point it'll come back to human and where we can identify with people. And that's what this needs to be, is you create characters on screen that you or your best friend or your mother, your father, your sister, your cousin, anyone, I can identify with that person. I can go on their journey and it feels like I'm going on that journey. That's what it's about. It's not about like the hoodie I'm wearing and you know, and the skincare regimen that I don't have. I use Dove soap, bar soap, like, you know. I think that's really ultimately for me, it's about people. It's about that camaraderie on set. It's about getting up and, you know, seeing whoever your base camp PA is first thing in the morning and saying good morning and asking how their night was. And if they got some rest, then hugging them every day and then going into hair and makeup and seeing your hair and makeup people and giving them a hug and checking on them and seeing how their families are, their kids are, and then getting on set and seeing the director and creating that relationship and that creative bond and then getting to know them even more intimately and with your cast and all those things. That for me is what this whole process is, you know, and then finally putting it all together and getting the chance to act. You know, you do all this stuff and the camera rolls for 2 minutes and you get to act for 2 minutes. Yeah. And I love that 2 minutes. That 2 minutes is awesome. You know, so anytime I get an opportunity to do that, that's what I like to do.
I think we have to live in a less superficial world and enjoy more the little things, you know.
Yep. 100%. I'm right there with you, John. That's what we do here. That's what we celebrate at home. And we're going to keep pushing for it. Going to keep pushing for it. You know, everyone's beautiful, man. Period. And there's something, what I try to do every time I meet somebody, no matter what it is, I go, what do I love? What is beautiful about this person that I'm going to hold on to and appreciate? And I grab it. Like I can tell you've got a good heart. I can see it. So I didn't even question it. It comes through your eyes. You have a good heart. And I'm like, okay, great. John's got a great heart. Boom. I love it. I appreciate it. I respect it.